Welcome to the podcast here in Pollute Your Soul. We're here with Demitri.
Theodoropoulos.
Yes, long last name, but right now we're going to be talking about how he's running for mayor of Newark here in 2024, and he's the owner of Wonderland Records and an experienced engineer, smart, wise wizard right here. Thank
Thank you.
you. Yeah. Um, Now talk about what do you think Newark needs right now?
Newark seems to be in, kind of a financial pickle. Our fire companies, some of the public safety needs more money, and they continually raise the property taxes, which is, kind of unfair to the residents that they have to, make up for not necessarily mismanaged funds, but wasted money. For instance, a big thing, they spend over $1 million a year in credit card processing fees. Just to process credit cards, the city of Newark pays $1 million a year.
Which credit cards? What are the credit cards paying for?
Well, mostly electricity
Okay.
and and your utility bill. People put it on the credit card. Well, the city of Newark kind of eats the credit card charge, and it adds up to be a lot, especially because the U of D puts their entire electric bill on a credit card. And that's like
A
three,
line of credit for
no,
what was
on
it?
their credit card,
Like
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 $10 million a year on their credit card for power. And it costs the city about $400,000 a year for them to do that. So one thing I'd like to get either, figure out how they could help us with those costs or have them switch to another type of payment, whether it's a automatic bank deduction or what it is, but something that won't cost $400,000 a year.
it would kind of like help like the town more.
Yep, and that money could all go to Etna Firehouse, which I think is the a big problem right now because they're going to run out of money, beginning at 2025.
So what's the problem with this firehouse and what's going on there?
Um, Frequently on their ambulance runs, it costs them about $500 to do an ambulance run, and Medicaid pays about 50 of that, and the state won't. They're like, well, that's what we pay, kind of thing. So Aetna really relies on donations and trusts and things like that from big companies, or hopefully the University of Delaware will help cover some of those costs.
They don't.
They do, but not very much. Not what they should, considering the U of D pretty much owns 51 or 52% of the town. And they don't get any property tax because they're exempt.
Yeah. That's kind of like I don't want to get to like, but churches, I think what do you think about that real quick? Should churches pay taxes or
Um, I think they should pay property tax. I
yeah,
don't think they should necessarily pay an
income?
income tax.
Yeah, because income all goes to like great things.
Yes,
Like
but they should definitely pay a property tax because they're using, if the church catches fire, a fire company's going to show up, you know,
yeah.
and property taxes is what contributes to those, systems running.
So is technically is Delaware like why doesn't University of Delaware pay a nonprofit? Because it's a public.
It's a public land grant school and has been made exempt by the state of Delaware.
So there no form of taxes are paid by them at all.
No property taxes are paid by them.
Do you think that's a
Yep,
problem?
I think it's a huge problem because they keep buying up properties. And guess what? Every time they buy a property, it goes from a tax income to nothing. So if they buy a bunch of townhouses to put up student housing, we lose all that tax base.
And then all the people and small businesses, or I mean some big business, but mostly small businesses have to pay for the taxes in the
Exactly,
town.
cover that expense. The residents of the city and the business fees go up. So everybody you kind of lose. University doesn't because it just, makes a
Because
ton of money on renting these places out or creating student housing.
yeah, 20,000 new kids coming a
Yep.
year,
Yep.
and then that
Oh, it adds up fast. It adds up fast for the UAD. They have billions in trust that they're just sitting on. The UAD could pay for, just on the interest on their trust, could pay for every kid to go to school for free. Yeah.
Wow. So is there any other like topics or issues that you're running on right now at your platform?
Like I want to bring, I want to be able to work with U of D to bring some research and development companies for hydrogen energy to Star Campus. And that way, big companies could come and set up factories and people could get on the job training that pays well and they don't necessarily have to have a college degree because college is really expensive now.
So is there a lack of like factories
Yep.
for clean energy in Delaware?
There is a lack of factories. I mean, we had Chrysler plant, we had the GM Boxwood plant, we had Westvaco. There were a ton of really good industry jobs that were available in Newark, and they have slowly flitted away.
Yeah, I mean that's like most of like I remember my family's from Philly in like an Italian working class, whatever you
Mm-hmm.
want to call it, and they a lot of my family used to work in building the ships,
Yep.
warships. Now that's like
Oh yeah, that
not,
the naval. Yeah, that's the naval yards in Philly. Yeah, they used to build a lot of ships there.
and that's like a whole, and then it's like you look at like we don't need to talk about Kensington too much, but Kensington used to be a big area for like manufacturing,
Mm-hmm.
but now everywhere is like like a trap, like it's all
Yep.
like abandoned housing, and now
Oh yeah, it's a mess.
it's a mess in
It's a
there.
mess.
That's a whole nother
Yep.
rabbit hole.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not going to let that happen in Newark
Yeah,
because I
yeah.
want to bring in, manufacturing, high-tech, clean energy manufacturing. State of Delaware just got a $750 million grant to work on hydrogen power. So I want to bring as much of that to Newark and as many jobs as possible to Newark from that grant.
That's good. That's great. Um, what's your past in politics in general?
I ran for U.S. Senate in 2018 with the Green Party. Just I knew I wouldn't win because only Democrats win national seats in Delaware, but I wanted to see what the whole thing was about on the national level.
Of
And it was,
politics in Delaware?
yeah, well, politics in Delaware and politics nationally. And
Yeah.
it's just a yucky thing.
We'll get to the Delaware way
Yeah.
in a few. Well, besides the Etna firehouse, there's a lot of issues with public safety in Newark. What would you say the issues are there?
Um, well, according to the Newark Police Department, they need to give people raises so they can recruit better talent into their police force. I think they should spend the extra money and get like a full-time social worker or therapist, because now they have a victim services person, which is not, that person's not trained as a therapist or as a social worker to go see, if there is a mental health crisis somewhere. Because I don't want it to, happen in this town where, oh, well, this guy having a mental health crisis gets killed because he's erratic and acting kind of crazy.
There needs to be empathy there for
Yep,
the
absolutely.
empathy and like more focus on de-escalation.
Mm-hmm.
That's like something like if anybody takes a criminal justice class, like they what's trying to be pushed right now is like de-escalation, like
Absolutely.
because I took one back in high school, and it was like all about de-escalation
Mm-hmm.
is the priority.
Yep.
But um to even like de-escalate, like there needs to be like a like what's the solution in that interaction? The solution is like get social help, get help
Absolutely.
there. It's like they're even trying to, what I think is good too is like so let's say you're having like a mental breakdown, um and you get taken to the psych ward. They're trying to make it so like they don't put a handcuff on you, because
Yeah.
what they'll do is they'll treat you like you're a prisoner
Yep.
if you're threatening to unalive yourself, you know what I mean? And it's kind of like, why would you kind of add this negative energy to somebody that's going through a mental crisis? I think, yeah,
Exactly. No
like,
handcuffs. If it's a,
yeah,
yeah, if it's a mental health crisis, as long as it's not a dangerous situation like this person has a gun,
yeah, well,
that I understand. But if it's just somebody having a crisis, a guy in a black uniform with a gun is not the best thing to show up.
Yeah, there
you
needs to be
know?
like so you're saying that there needs to be like a paid social worker
Mhm.
to be in those situations
Yes, absolutely. And
with like a
also
bulletproof vest or
yeah, and also, if this person works for the Newark Police Department, to give the police therapy, because those guys have a stressful job, you know?
yeah, like if you
Most
walk in a room, see a baby microwave
Yeah,
or something, it's
yeah,
like that's gonna scar you for life.
for life,
Like,
yep, you're never gonna be right again, but if there was a therapist on staff, they could, talk through the issues and, not have these, horrible PTSD,
yeah,
situations where
it's
guys wanna take their own lives.
or take it out on others. That's why you
Yep,
have a lot of these like police brutality cases. It's probably because like undiagnosed um like trauma
yep,
or mental issues.
yep.
It's not just like cops are bad.
No, no, not
Like,
at all, not at
like
all,
it's
but
not a
they go through a lot, and a lot of time, um, personality of a lot of police are, "I don't need help," it's
yeah.
and it should be a situation where there's somebody on staff that I better go get some therapy because 'cause I'm freaking out," kinda thing, and the person would be available for them instead of them, "Okay, well, I gotta call this number," then make an appointment, and, at that point, they could but, you know, somebody could snap.
Yeah, therapy is kind of a not everybody has like the same resources and access to it.
Mhm.
That's the problem is like if you tell somebody who lives on what do they call it? Like a Section 8
Yeah,
or, SNAP.
low income housing, yep,
Yeah, like what are you gonna tell them? Like go get there like
yep,
like
I
where
know, yep,
like it's a whole different dilemma. Like um only really like lower middle class moving up or even have access to it. But like if you're below
well,
middle class,
if you're in the poverty level, you don't have access to that. You don't even have access to regular good medical care.
yeah, that $50 copay is gonna just like
Yep,
that's like
it's a week's groceries.
maybe if you go to Aldi,
Yeah,
you know
yeah,
what I mean?
well,
Like it's crazy. Like there's a lot of like different things that could be
yeah.
done with therapy and making it more accessible. That's good that you're focusing on that. What would you do for the local art scene in Newark,
The
Delaware?
local art scene and music scene, what I want to do is free up a couple, maybe three entertainment licenses so that we could open a venue for music that wouldn't have to serve food. It could be a regular bar. And I also think that would reduce the underage drinking in Newark because guys over 21 or girls over 21 have nowhere to go see live music. So guess what? They have a house party. Somebody shows up at the door with a
Yeah.
$5 bill. Here's your red cup. I don't care. I'm not carding you.
Yeah, like and like I love like the local, there's some local, places to watch live music, but if those places were legitimate, it would help the local economy and also be more safer and regulated
Absolutely.
for
Absolutely.
the people
Yep.
attending.
And remember the old Stone Balloon, the bands that they had in there are crazy, you know? And that venue would get like packed every night because they'd have Metallica played there, Rush played there.
Love see
Um,
Mama John.
Love Seed Mama Jump played there a lot.
Yeah.
Run DMC.
Run DMC went there?
Yeah.
That's yeah, like there's a void there. Why did you think that started the void?
Um, Because the businesses that held these licenses to be able to do this kind of shifted gears. Look at the Stone Balloon, it became a wine bar. The Deer Park got all gentrified. Um, and they still have music upstairs, but in front of the stage, 10 feet, there's a brick wall. So that's not a viable option. Um, the the former East End, which is now the Grain, is like a high-end microbrew bar that has a stage for maybe one acoustic guitar player.
Yeah, maybe like a jazz band, like a
Yeah.
small
Oh,
jazz
teeny,
thing.
like a three-piece kind of
Yeah, and
thing.
it's like if you go to other places in Delaware, like if you go to the Grain and or like I used to work at the Grain in Bear,
Mhm.
there's like a whole stage
Yep.
with a patty with the roof. It's the size of this room,
Yeah.
like almost like the size of here to the studio. It's like it's a crazy big thing. There's this giant stage. There's even space for a dance floor over there. Do you think like that could not be done in Newark right now?
Oh, I think it can be. I
No, I'm
think it
saying
can
like
be.
if you wouldn't be elected, it wouldn't be done. Yeah.
No, it wouldn't be done. They're
Yes.
not gonna. Eh, a lot of people have blinders on and they don't realize they just want to crack down on things. For instance, the law that was passed a few years ago, no more than 4 people on your front porch, or else, police
What?
can, yeah, it's this weird, I don't know the exact details of this, but it limits the number of people you can have over. And it was to curb underage drinking. It's this prohibitory kind of mindset. Well, we'll just stop it. And then people are going to find a way to do it. And it's going to go more and more underground. And then you're going to run into problems.
I mean, you look at what the prohibition did. I don't think if they hadn't done the prohibition, I don't think modern like crime organizations would have been that bad.
No, they wouldn't exist hardly.
They would be like less like
Yep.
yeah,
That was a huge, bootlegging alcohol in the 20s was huge business for, you know,
organized crime
yeah.
and then eventually like Italian mafia, a lot of other groups kind of rose out of that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so that is kind of like a running theme in America is like the more you prohibit stuff,
Yep.
the more like crime is gonna be done.
Absolutely.
like
Absolutely.
like
100%.
that always happens one way or another. Like it doesn't even have to be like substances or drugs. It could be
No.
like gambling or stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Anything. Anything.
And then you like if you the more you crack down on gambling, the more like some guy owes 50K to Tony
Yeah,
Soprano. You know
exactly.
what I mean?
Yep. Yep.
It's a whole different, kind of thing. Um, what is the Delaware way?
The Delaware way is Delaware's political way, which is basically you have to know the right people. You have to be in line for the job, have done some other menial kind of position and be in line for the job. Um, Many of them will go from governor to House of Representatives in DC or US Senate in DC, but a lot of them will start like, okay, they'll be the treasurer first, then they'll go to the House of Representatives in DC, then they'll come back and become governor, then they'll go and be in US Senate. And that's kind of what Tom Carper did. But it was, okay, well, you're next, it's it's a club, and it's a shame because it doesn't give people an opportunity to
Get involved
get
locally.
involved locally and find the best candidates for the position.
Cause I don't think in like schools you're taught nowadays how to be involved in local politics. I don't think everybody should run for Senate, but I think that there should be kind of like a sense of community and an idea that JFK kind of spread. It's like, what can you do
Yeah,
for your country?
exactly,
We
exactly.
don't have that.
Nope.
It's like politics are like this kind of game in society that are kind of
It's a
gate kept.
it's a grift. So the whole thing is a grift. So the guys in Washington, here's an easy example of that. The guys in Washington tell these oil companies, oh, you can lease this land from us to drill for oil. We're going to open some leases. And then the oil companies donate money to the campaigns. So then the politicians say, well, we'll give them a subsidy to drill, which basically pays for the lease. So they're using the land for nothing, sucking all the money out of it. And the American people are losing because it's our natural resources. It doesn't belong to the oil companies. It doesn't belong to the people in office in DC. It's ours and should be divided up so.
And then you have the nonprofit thing
Mm-hmm.
where it's like, I mean, we talked a lot. I'd honestly, I'd rather not have a property tax on churches. I'd rather get nonprofits to be taxed because it's like it's a whole nother rabbit hole.
Yep, it's a whole nother thing. It's a whole nother thing because there are some nonprofits that are good that spend all their money on the right things and don't overpay, but then there's some that just take advantage. Where the CEO's making millions of dollars.
Yeah, like there's good like a example of a great nonprofit would be Theater N in Wilmington. It focuses
Yep,
on art house cinema,
yep, and keeps it local.
and it's all small. Like there's
Yep,
only like it's one room, but then there's these big organizations that are like have these crazy like promises and stuff, and nothing gets done.
nothing gets done
Like it's like
because they're paying all
yeah,
their buddies to make sure that the company doesn't make a profit. Well, just come consult. We'll give you $100,000. because we
Yeah,
have it extra.
chair member.
Yeah, we got to spend it. Yeah.
Yeah. Is there any other issues you're running on or topics we could bring
One selfish one, I want a dog park.
up?
We don't have one in Newark. We
For
need
Stella
one.
right
Yep,
here.
for Stella right there. Um, no, there's not a lot. I mean, people complain about the parking and the issues on Main Street, and that's why a lot of older Newark residents don't go down Main Street. It could be better, but I don't think it's as horrible as people think. I mean, I
Like
get,
finding parking, or
yeah.
you think there could be more like parking lots or
Yeah, and I think if people just want to stop somewhere, run in real quick, and then come back out, I think 15 or 20 minutes for free if you know you're just going to be there that long.
yeah.
Because otherwise you have to go to the kiosk or download the app now, and it's a pain.
And like elderly people like can't figure that out.
Yeah,
Like
they don't want to deal with it.
it's like putting like football games on like Amazon Prime. It's like
Mm-hmm.
it's like what are we doing here?
Exactly.
Like they're gonna get an Amazon Prime. It's like
Yeah.
come on, or Peacock.
Yeah, oh, I hate Peacock. I'm a soccer fan, and all the good games are just on Peacock. And I'm like, I'm not doing it. I'm not buying it.
Yeah, you might as well just like go pirate it or
Yep.
something. Like come on, it's crazy. But thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
I'm looking forward to your continuous effort
Thank you.
to pursuing politics. You're gonna do some great things, man.
Thank you.
Thank you, man.
Thank you very much.
Where can we find you?
You can find me at Wonderland Records. That's the easy place to find me. Actually, that's the best place to find me. We also are Wonderland Vinyl Records on Instagram. If you DM me on that, I always answer.
You'll find them.
Yeah. Come to the shop, talk to me. When I'm mayor, if you have something you think is an issue, I'm here. I'm at Wonderland. You can come ask me any question you want.
Listening to music and chilling.
Yep.
You know how it is. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and mess with Demitri right here. Peace.